It was meant to be just another night in Atlanta. But what happened behind the scenes of Love and Hip Hop has left viewers in complete shock. Rashida, known for her fortitude, dedication, and unwavering efforts to keep her marriage together, has finally reached her breaking point. According to sources close to the marriage, Rashida rushed out of their house in the middle of the night, suitcases packed and tears flowing down her cheeks, after reportedly seeing Kirk Frost in yet another compromising scenario with a woman who was clearly not his wife. And this time, she isn't looking back. The lady Kirk was spotted with is said to have links to the Love and Hip Hop series, and the betrayal is deeper than before. Fans are astonished. Friends are split. And Rasheeda, she's finished concealing secrets to preserve Kirk's reputation. Insiders claim it all erupted after a late-night altercation that culminated with Rasheeda shrieking, "You can keep her." She slammed the door shut behind her. Now social media is in disarray. The cast is scrambling, and fans want answers. What exactly transpired that night? Who is the mysterious woman? Is this the end of Rasheeda and Kirk for good? Stay tuned. Rasheeda assumed the night began quietly and uneventfully, as it did every other. After a long day recording confessionals for Love and Hip Hop, she returned home to a darkly lit residence, expecting Kirk to be asleep. But something didn't seem right. His car was not in the driveway, and his phone had been going directly to voicemail all evening. She initially attempted to dismiss it, figuring he was busy at the studio or on business. But a gut sensation, the old familiar dread she had fought so hard to avoid for years, began to seep back in. She was sitting on the side of their bed, looking through Instagram, when a direct message showed up that altered everything. It was a hazy photograph, apparently taken swiftly and in secrecy, but the faces were unmistakably identifiable. Kirk Frost, seated in an elite bar on the north side of town, got way too near to a woman who didn't resemble Rasheeda. The woman's hand rested on his leg. His smile appeared guilty. The statement accompanying the photo was brief, chilly, and direct. "Girl, I hate to be the one to tell you, but he's out here again." Rasheeda's hand shook as she looked at the TV. For a little moment, everything stopped. The walls, the ceiling, and her heartbeat all blended into a deep, hollow echo. She'd been here before many times. The falsehoods, our apologies. They pledged to change. Couples treatment. The vows were renewed. She had supported Kirk through controversy after scandal, not because of a lack of self-worth, but because she believed in rebuilding family and atonement. But this was the line. She did not call him. She did not text. Instead, she grabbed her vehicle keys, put on a sweatshirt, and departed, not to pursue him, but to witness the betrayal with her own eyes. The lounge was just 15 minutes away, but each red light felt like a lifetime. Her gut nodded as she envisioned the scenario. Part of her prayed that was not true. Perhaps the photograph was old. Maybe there was a misunderstanding. But the truth hit her like a slap the instant she stepped through the door. There he was. Kirk was sitting in a secluded VIP booth, flanked by a few industry folks, laughing like a man with no cares in the world. And just alongside him, the same woman from the DM. Young, curvy, overdressed. She leaned forward and whispered something into Kirk's ear, causing him to laugh louder than he had in months. He hadn't seen Rasheeda at first, but when their gazes met, the entire room went silent for her. Time paused. He sprang up, shocked, and reached out as if to explain. But Rasheeda had already turned around and gone away. She didn't want a scene. She did not want cameras. She did not want a tale. She wanted to get out. Back at home, she did not weep. Not straight away. She packed carefully and meticulously, not knowing where she was going. A few clothing, her laptop, her skincare, her son's framed portrait on her bedside. The stillness was terrible. And still, Kirk did not call. An hour passed, and the front door creaked open. He stepped in carefully, hoping she hadn't noticed him, as if he could simply sneak back into the darkness and pretend nothing had occurred. But Rasheeda sat in the living room, suitcases at her feet, her face blank with betrayal. "You truly believe I am stupid, huh?" Her tone was calm, yet every word felt like a gunshot. Kirk paused. It wasn't as it seemed. She sneered. Are you really going to say that line again? After so many years? It was not like that, Ra. We were just. Do not call me that, she screamed. You forfeited your right to be comfortable with me tonight. His shoulders slumped. For once, he did not make a return. There's no smooth talk. There are no manipulations. Just quiet. And in that quiet, everything they'd gone through came tumbling down. I stayed after Jasmine, she explained, her voice shaking. I remained after the side baby. I stayed despite everyone telling me I was an idiot. But you don't know how to quit, right? It was business, he said. You're lying to my face in my house, she said, rising up. I noticed her hand on your leg. What about that business? She was only being friendly. Don't disrespect me, Kirk, she yelled. You aren't simply humiliating me anymore. You're ruining me. He'd approached her and reached out. Rashida, please, do not leave like this. She stared him dead in the eye. I should have left years ago. He didn't expect her to follow through on it. She had previously threatened to leave, but she always stayed. This time was different. She walked out without saying another word, slamming the door behind her. And just like that, the mirage of their flawless return vanished. Rumors began to circulate as the sun rose over Atlanta. A neighbor reported to hear yelling at 3 a.m. A friend of the lady, Kirk, shared a mysterious story with the caption, "He finally chose her." Fans noticed Rashida had removed all recent photos of Kirk from her Instagram. Love and hip-hop producers were notified that something serious had occurred, and within hours they were scurrying to catch up, ordering camera crews to begin recording emergency programming for the next show. Meanwhile, Rashida moved into a quiet motel outside of town. She didn't tell anyone where she was, including her closest pals. She needed time. It's time to think. It's time to weep. It was time to discover who she was without the burden of always forgiving a guy who never changed. Rashida eventually let her guard down inside that motel room. Years of anguish erupted in one emotional storm, bringing tears in waves. She gazed in the bathroom mirror at her smudged mascara and swollen face and muttered to herself, "You deserve better." Back at home, Kirk sat alone in the kitchen, scrolling through his phone and watching his world disintegrate in real time. Direct messages rushed in. Have you screwed up again? How could you do this to her? Rashida deserves so much better. He tried to justify himself, explain, and shift the narrative. But this time, no justifications would suffice. And the worst part, his adolescent son Kai had witnessed the drama unfolding online before he heard from either parent. Kai messaged Rashida, confused and saddened, to find out what had transpired. She didn't respond immediately away, wondering how to describe yet another betrayal in a language that didn't seem traumatizing. The family started to fall apart at that point. The consequences didn't simply affect Kirk and Rashida. It spread like wildfire to their children, parents, friends, and of course, the Love and Hip Hop cast. Everyone had an opinion, and everyone was taking sides. Kai was the first to feel the full weight of it all. As a youngster, he had already observed far too much of his parents' turbulent history. But this time was different. He had always hoped that things would improve, that the worst was behind them. It was sad to see his mother pack up and depart again. Rashida eventually responded to his SNS with a simple message. "We'll talk soon. I adore you." That was not enough. He needed answers, and deep inside, he wanted to yell at his father. Kirk, for his part, remained holed up inside the home, performing damage management as he usually did. But this time, no one bought it. His mother called, upset. "Kirk, you are a mature man. When are you going to quit acting like a freaking fool?" His sister left him a voice message, claiming she was embarrassed to be linked to him. And what about his old pal, Rodney? He did not hold back either. "You lost your only true one, dude. Are you really out here hunting side pieces when you already have a queen at home?" The strain was building up, and for once, Kirk didn't fight it. He just sat there in silence, looking through the dozens of postings, images, and tagged videos that were bringing his reputation into disrepute. One film had already gone viral. A fan had captured footage of Rasheeda storming out of the lounge, her face furious, her hands locked into fists. What's the caption? Rasheeda has had enough. Kirk is out here, LDIN again. As the video spread, fans exploded. Tweets swamped the timeline. How many times can this woman be betrayed before she snaps? Rashida has been too faithful. Let the man go. At this time, Kirk has 9 lives. Meanwhile, Rashida struggled to maintain her composure. She didn't want to share anything. No quotations, selfies, or I'm healing postings. Not yet. She needed time. However, the quiet exacerbated the speculation. Was she seeking a divorce? Was it truly over this time? Was this all a PR stunt? Candy Burris, a longtime friend and castmate, phoned to check up. Girl, tell me what's happening. Are you okay? Rashida broke down in tears. It was the first time she had let someone else in. Candy listened calmly as she spoke about everything. The humiliation, the years of covering for Kirk, the silent sacrifices, and the never-ending treachery. I just feel stupid, Rashida murmured. Don't you dare, Candy said firmly. You held that man down better than most ladies ever would. If he lost you, it is his responsibility, not yours. The next day, Rashida went to her business to check in with the employees. It was supposed to be quick, only a few minutes to collect some documents. But as soon as she stepped in, folks began murmuring. One woman even came up to hug her. You don't know me, she replied, her eyes welling up. But I've seen you stay strong for so long. You motivated me to leave my own bad relationship. That moment shattered something in Rashida. Maybe her anguish had a purpose. Perhaps this was not the end, but rather the beginning. However, things were spinning out of control at home. Kirk, anxious for damage control, began contacting love and hip-hop producers. You all need to let me tell my side, remarked the politician. Let's sit down and do a scenario. They agreed, but not out of pity. They smelled ratings. They knew the fans would go crazy for this. The cheating, the walkout, the viral moment. It was the type of controversy that dominated whole seasons. Filming resumed within 48 hours. Kirk sat on a luxurious couch in a leased studio space, visibly frightened for the first time in a long time. The producer inquired, "Are you certain you want to do this?" He nodded. "I have to make it right." However, as the cameras rolled, Kirk couldn't bring himself to speak the words that everyone expected. There wasn't a meaningful apology, no emotional breakdown, just excuses. Me and Rashida have been going through some problems. It's not new. He drifted off. The outcry was immediate. Clips from the interview have leaked online. Fans were disgusted. He didn't even try to apologize. One commenter stated, "This individual feels no remorse." Another added, "I used to cheer for them. I am done." And then came the big twist. Rashida broke her silence. In a surprise Instagram Live, she came from a hotel balcony, wearing only sunglasses and no makeup. Her tone was calm, but her words were sharp. "I have remained silent because I needed time. It's time to process. It's time to breathe. But I see people manipulating the story, and I want you to know that I left because I had to. Because loving someone who does not love you properly will break you in ways you do not realize until it is too late." The live went viral in minutes. Celebrities reposted it. Blogs created thought pieces on it. Fans described it as the moment Rashida reclaimed her power. And somewhere in Atlanta, Kirk watched everything unfold with a sickening feeling in his chest. He'd lost her, and she wasn't coming back. As if things couldn't get much worse, a mysterious woman appeared the following day. She shared strange details, including blurry images of Kirk's necklace on her bedside. One picture featured a man's silhouette, same physique, tattoos, lying shirtless on her bed. The caption read, "He stated he was finished with her regardless." The internet erupted. Some fans were hesitant, while others believed it immediately. The timeline was flooded with jokes, side-by-side comparisons. and hashtags like hashtag Kirk exposed and hashtag for Rasheeda. The drama had officially reached boiling pitch. Meanwhile, Rasheeda's mother became involved. Miss Shirley, known for never holding back, resorted to social media to share her own message. "You've injured my kid too many times, Kirk. You never deserved her. I was silent for years, but now I am done chewing my tongue." That post alone received over 50,000 likes in just 2 hours. And just when it appeared that the pandemonium couldn't be any more intense, Kirk arrived at Rasheeda's hotel, uninvited, unannounced, standing in the hallway, carrying flowers, and looking like a guy who had suddenly realized how much he had ruined. He knocked on her door, heart racing, wondering if she'd open it. She did, but she did not grin, did not hug him. "I didn't allow him in. I'm not here for another apology," she said, arms crossed. "I just need a few minutes," he said. "Why?" she asked. "Can you say sorry for the same thing again? So you vow you'll change again?" He did not respond. "I'm not the same woman I was a year ago, Kirk," she said gently, "and you are still the same man." With that, she closed the door. Rasheeda sat back against the wall, breathing hard, her emotions spinning. What she said? Yes, hurt deeply, but also proud, because for the first time in a long time, she made her own decision. Back in the hallway, Kirk stood still. The rejection struck him like a freight train. There were no cameras this time. There are no producers. There are no edits. It's just him, alone, watching the lady he used to take for granted go away for good. Something changed once the door closed for both of them. Rasheeda stood on the other side, taking deep breaths. She knew the entire world was watching. Every action she made was analyzed, critiqued, and reposted. But for once, she didn't mind. She wasn't posing for the cameras or trying to be Oak. This was not a narrative. It was her life. And this time, she was in control. She sat on the side of the bed, the weight of everything setting in. The treachery, the disrespect, a public humiliation. But weirdly, she felt lighter, as if something toxic had finally left her body. All the years of second chances, forced forgiveness, and artificial grins were done. But for Kirk, reality was only beginning to sink in. He did not go home that night. Instead, he drove aimlessly around Atlanta, his thoughts whirling. His phone was constantly buzzing with messages from producers, castmates, fans, and bloggers. Everyone wanted a part in the drama. But the one thing he was concerned about now was gone, and he didn't know how to solve it. Rasheeda did not check social media the next morning. Her manager had been phoning her incessantly about her press engagements and brand duties, so she requested a few more days. "I just need some space," she explained. "Let everyone speak what they want. I will talk when I am ready." Still, the globe would not stop whirling. That afternoon, Love and Hip Hop released a preview for the next episode. A slow-motion sequence showed Rasheeda slamming the door in Kirk's face, accompanied by dramatic music. The promotion concluded with a close-up of her murmuring, "I deserve better." Fans went nuts. She's finally said it. This is the Rasheeda that we needed years ago. It's about darn time. But then, out of nowhere, another twist. Who is the mysterious woman who submitted the enigmatic photos? She went live, and she had receipts. Her name was Amber. Early 30s, Instagram model vibes, thick lashes, long nails, and the entire appearance. She began her life drinking wine and grinning. "You've been dragging me and calling me a homewrecker, but guess what? I did not ruin anything. That man was already broken." The comments exploded instantaneously. Thousands are watching, screen recording, and then she dropped the bombshell, screenshots, texts from Kirk, voice notes, hotel receipts, even a grainy video of him coming out of her apartment building late at night, hoodie on, attempting to avoid being spotted. "He told me they were separated," she stated. "Told me Rasheeda was cold and distant. He said he felt lonely. I did not compel him to come to me. He came gladly." The live video became viral inside an hour. Blogs picked it up. YouTubers responded to it. What about the fans? They were finished with Kirk. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was at her sister's house, observing everything with wide eyes and clenched teeth. "This is disgusting," she mumbled. "He continued to lie even after I left." Her sister, Nisi, glanced over. "Girl, this is not just impolite, it is war." "Let him have her," Rashida said coldly. "They deserve one another." But she wasn't finished yet. That night, she met with the producers again. This time, she requested a solitary confessional. She sat in front of the camera, bare-faced, confident, and unrepentant. "For years," she explained, "I kept convincing myself it was worth keeping. Because of our history, children, and love, we were prepared to face any challenge. But the fact is, sometimes history keeps you prisoner." She hesitated, her voice husky with passion. "I did not leave because of Amber. I left because I realized I was in love with a man who did not love me the way I needed to be loved." The producer behind the camera blinked. "Do you want to say anything to Kirk directly?" She shook her head. "No, he has already talked enough." Suddenly, the tone altered. The fans noticed a new Rasheeda, stronger, clearer, unbothered, but Kirk wasn't finished playing games. The next day, he contacted his lawyer, not to file for divorce, but to defend his property. Rumors circulated that Rasheeda was planning to sweep him out, especially since they owned multiple businesses together. But Rasheeda wasn't interested in money. She was focused on peace. Still, Kirk couldn't stop himself from trying again. He sent flowers, dozens. He left some scribbled notes, apologizing, pleading, promising, and then he showed up again. This time, he saw her outside her store. She was with Kai, who had finally decided to see her after days of not replying. As soon as Kirk arrived, Kai moved in front of his mother protectively. "Nah, you're not going to do this again," he growled, his eyes flaming. Kirk raised his hands. "I just want to chat." "You got your opportunity," Rashida murmured, walking around her son. "You blew it." Kirk looked like he hadn't slept for days. His voice crackled. "Are you truly done?" She gave him a long, hard gaze. "Yes," she answered simply. "For good." He glanced down dejected. For the first time, the arrogance was gone. All that remained was remorse. "Then I guess I'll go," he said quietly. As he went away, Kai turned to face his mother. "Are you okay?" She nodded. "I will be." However, the drama did not stop there. Amber returned to social media to capitalize on the opportunity. She shared selfies with captions such as "unbothered," "happy," "free." Fans called her out for being rude, but she didn't care. She even teased to a prospective cameo on Love and Hip Hop by captioning one story, "You all might be seeing more of me real soon." The manufacturers saw cash signals. Meanwhile, Kirk's reputation had suffered greatly. Endorsement deals began to drift away. Even some of the local firms he was involved with discreetly severed relations. The harm was not only personal, but also professional. And Rashida? She remained silent until she shared a mysterious story of her own. It was only a quote, "You cannot recover at the same spot where you were broken." No caption, no face. However, the message was plain. The internet exploded with activity. Celebrities reposted it. Fans showered her comments with heart emojis and expressions of encouragement. People were supporting her like never before. Despite having the people on her side, Rashida realized this was not the end of the struggle. There were still ugly issues to sort out: shared homes, legal paperwork, custody conversations, and, of course, the much-anticipated Love and Hip Hop reunion. The reunion was going to be dramatic. Rumors were already circulating. Would Rashida meet Amber face to face? Will Kirk try to get her back on stage? Will Kai speak up? Will Miss Shirley go off? Producers had already teased it in interviews, calling it the most emotional, raw, and dramatic reunion in franchise history. As the date approached, tensions increased. Rashida sat in her dressing room, eyes closed, calming herself. Her makeup artist worked quietly, knowing this was not the time for small conversation. Next door, Kirk paced uneasily, practicing his words. He had one final chance, and he knew it. As the cameras rolled and the cast took their seats, the air was heavy with excitement. The host greeted everyone, But Rashida and Kirk received the most attention. She sat straight, poised and gleaming in a silver outfit. He seemed exhausted but determined. And as the host was ready to ask the first question, Kirk leaned into the microphone and whispered, "Before we begin, I need to say something." The room became quiet. "Before we begin, I need to say something." Kirk's voice shook as it resonated across the studio. Every camera turned, every cast member leaned forward, and Rashida did not blink. She just sat there, impassive and inscrutable. The host nodded nervously. "Go ahead, Kirk." He took a long breath to settle himself. "I know I've already spoken a lot, some privately, some on this program, and some that should never have been uttered at all. But right now, in front of everyone, I want to be honest." Rashida folded her arms. "I botched up. Again," Kirk confessed. "I broke your trust, insulted our marriage, and shamed you in public. I blamed the show, the pressure, and you. But in reality, it was all on me. I was weak. I was selfish. And I do not deserve your pardon." The crowd remained quiet. Even the personnel backstage paused what they were doing to listen. "But what hurts the most," Kirk said, "isn't losing the marriage. It's knowing that I've ruined the one person who stood by my side while everyone else abandoned me. You built me up when I had nothing. You helped me to become something. And I took it for granted." Rashida did not speak. Her gaze did not flinch. "I know I can't fix this," Kirk remarked, "and I'm not here to win you back via words. I am here to accept responsibility for the suffering I caused. Not for ratings, not for a return, just because that is the truth." He gently turned toward her. "I am sorry, Rashida. I apologize for everything." The host cleared his throat, apparently taken aback by the intensity of the situation. "Would you like to react, Rashida?" She sat up taller, her voice calm yet strong. "You're correct, Kirk. You can't fix it. Not with flowers, not with speeches, and certainly not on camera." The audience murmured. Some people gasped. "I've spent years of my life defending you," she said. "From fans, friends, and family, including me. I was hoped you would change. I kept wanting to think you loved me as much as I loved you. But you didn't. You enjoyed having me. You did not enjoy retaining me." Kirk looked down. "And now," she said, "I finally love myself enough to walk away." The audience burst with applause. Even some cast members wiped away tears. The moment seemed raw and authentic. The reunion resumed, but the spotlight remained on the two of them. When Amber was introduced midway through the program, the tension spiked again. She stepped on stage wearing a skin-tight red dress and exuding confidence. "I know y'all are mad," she remarked before sitting down, "but I didn't do anything against your loving husband's wishes." Rashida simply shook her head, giggling angrily. "You genuinely believe you are the moment, don't you?" "I don't have to think about it, baby," Amber yelled back. "The bloggers have already mentioned it." That was when Rashida's vocal mother, Miss Shirlene, stepped in from the side panel. "Hush, girl. You aren't nothing more than a stunt double wearing a cheap wig." The audience erupted with laughter. Even Rashida couldn't help but smile. "You ain't take nobody's man," Shirlene said. "He left himself." Amber rolled her eyes, but didn't respond. The harm had already been done. Her 15 minutes were ticking away quickly. As the reunion ended, the host attempted to provide some closure. "So what happens next, Rashida? Where are you going from here?" She took a deep breath. "Forward. I am putting myself first. My tranquility, my children, my recovery. And maybe one day you'll fall in love again, but not in a painful way." There was thunderous applause. She stood and waved, then walked off stage like a queen regaining her kingdom. Backstage, Kirk sat alone. Everyone else was rejoicing, taking photos and sharing behind-the-scenes footage. But he sat on a folding chair, elbows on knees, looking at the ground. One of the producers came over. "Are you good, man?" Kirk exhaled. "I'm not sure who I am without her." The producer had no idea what to say. There was nothing to say. Meanwhile, Rashida broadcast live from her dressing room. She didn't say much, only thanking her followers for their support and encouraging them to love themselves enough to leave relationships that no longer serve them. "I'm not broken," she explained. "I am free." The next morning, headlines exploded. Rashida ends her marriage to Kirk in epic reunion showdown. Amber was confronted. Miss Shirlene stole the show. Is Kirk's apology too late? Fans say it's over. Clips from the reunion went viral. Celebrities and influencers alike shared their reactions. Even Cardi B commented on a video saying, "She ate that." Period. Fans celebrated Rashida like never before. Her fashion line sold out overnight. Her music streaming increased. She won a new podcast deal in days, focusing on recovery, self-worth, and honest discussion for women who've gone through it all. But while the world rejoiced, the reality of separation set in. Rashida filed for divorce just a few weeks after the reunion aired. Kirk did not resist it. The paperwork was clean and timely. There are no major judicial fights, just the calm conclusion of something that has been dying for years. Rashida relocated to a new condo uptown. Sleek, modern, her space, her vibe. Kirk remained at their old house alone. He visited both, but it was evident where his loyalty lay. "Pops," he said Kirk one day, "I love you. But Ma is the actual one. Do not forget that." Kirk nodded, his eyes watering. "I never will." Amber, meantime, attempted to remain relevant. She shared TikToks. "I pitched a spin-off." Tried to cause a feud with other cast members online. However, the crowd had already gone on. She faded out as swiftly as she came in. And Rashida, she prospered. A month later, she shared a photo of herself in a white suit standing on a balcony with the caption, "When you let go of dead weight, you climb higher." Over 1 million likes. She went on tour for her new podcast. Venues are sold out. Women from all around the country went up to hear her speak, raw, uncensored, and authentic. She told her experience not as a victim, but as a survivor. "I don't regret loving him," she stated during a visit in Chicago. "I regret staying longer than I should have." There was thunderous applause. Kirk ultimately disappeared after returning to Atlanta. No more posts, no more interviews. Just quiet. Rumors circulated that he had quit the profession entirely to focus on his children and quietly rebuild himself. Some said he still loved her. Others claimed he never really knew how. But Rashida did not glance back. She had a new book contract, a fragrance line, and more sponsorships than before. But she had more than that, tranquility. For the first time in a long time, tranquility rang louder than drama. She stood tall, not because she hadn't been harmed, but because she decided to recover. And as the season of love and hip-hop came to an end, viewers did not lament the split. They applauded the breakthrough. Rashida wasn't simply walking away from Kirk. She was stepping into her authority. What about the world? It was watching. And with that, Rashida has officially ended a relationship that people have been following for nearly 10 years. From the highs of creating a family and a company together to the crushing lows of betrayal and heartache, this journey has been nothing short of a roller coaster. Rashida is now not just surviving, but thriving. She didn't simply leave Kirk. She regained her tranquility, strength, and voice. Viewers across the world are still reeling from the emotional reunion. Social media has been buzzing since the episode aired. Team Rashida is stronger than ever, and many consider her the epitome of perseverance. Kirk's emotional apology may have elicited sympathy, but for most fans, it was too little, too late. And what about Amber? So let's just assume her 15 minutes are up. But now we want to hear from you. Do you believe Rashida made the correct decision to finally leave Kirk? Was Kirk's apology real, or was it just another attempt to save face on camera? And do you believe these two can ever reconcile in the future? Please share your opinions in the comment section below. We read every single one. And if you're looking for all the raw, uncensored drama, emotional moments, and startling twists from your favorite reality stars, be sure to press the like and says you subscribe buttons right now. Don't forget to enable post alerts so you never miss an update. We've got more exclusive stories headed your way, and you won't want to miss what comes next. Until then, stay tuned, dirty, and genuine, because when it comes to love and hip hop, the drama never sleeps.